Remember the days when we wished icons in film would face each other so we knew who was all-powerful? Freddy vs. Jason and Alien vs. Predator. Well, now there's another one that I didn't know about. This is 2016 Sadako vs. Kayako, The Ring vs. The Grudge. Spoiler alert, while I might be giving you my opinion on the film, that's no substitute for watching it for yourself. Links to the film are in the description. And for those of you that need to hear this, this is just a movie. All stunts are for the sake of story and shouldn't be attempted on your own. Also, this film contains horror content. Viewer discretion is advised. We begin in an apartment that seems quiet at first, but Tachibana, the welfare agent, is at the door waiting for someone to answer. The resident, Miss Yasui, hasn't been seen in quite some time and she's just there to check in. A figure crosses the hall as Tachibana opens the door, and she continues calling the owner's name as she walks inside. I've never been to Japan, which I complain about frequently, but when I do go, I already know this house by sight alone. I will never be caught walking inside this house. I don't care what's chasing me or what job I have. She thinks she sees Miss Yasui in the kitchen, but when she opens the door, the figure disappears. She goes to the living room where the TV is playing a blue screen, and she notices a body lying on the floor. When she sees Miss Yasui's face, she sees that it's frozen in fear, and she is holding the power cord to the TV. Just then, the VCR starts playing, and a spirit in white rushes up behind her. Then we cut to a seminar at the local school where the teacher is going over local urban legends that include a murder house and haunted videotape. He assures the class that they are all fabrications. I've seen a lifetime of horror that will tell you otherwise. He even mentions the legend of Sadako. When you play her tape, you are called and told that you will die in 2 days. Japanese legends are less forgiving than others. The version I watched growing up was the American version first, and they got 7 days to Scooby-Doo Samara's story. Then I actually found out about the real Sadako, and she's ruthless in comparison. He tells the class that he is obsessed with Sadako, and he will pay to see her tape. Then he dismisses the class after handing out his book. Just then, Yuri and Natsumi wake up, and the teacher gives them a stern look. Later, the two girls sit for tea and Natsumi asks her for help with her parents' wedding tape. She wants to move it over to DVD and she knows Yuri is way better at this sort of thing. Later, we meet Suzuka as she and her parents move into their new house. While she watches the movers move stuff in, she gets an eerie feeling from the next door house. She notices the house is covered in keep out signs, but she can't help but be curious. I can't think of too many other houses that are so well known around the world, but literally no one will ever see in their life. Back in town, Yuri and Natsumi walk around a local market to look for old VCRs, and the one that Yuri picks seems to have hair coming out of it. They get it home to clean it up, and Yuri discovers that there is a tape inside already. The tape has no label, and it looks like someone tried to destroy it at some point. Who doesn't check the VCR before buying it? I literally go to thrift stores and markets just to search for old tapes thanks to The Ring. I know, I'm weird. While the tape plays, Yuri gets a text that takes her eyes away from the screen, but Natsumi watches every bit of it. When it's over, static plays and Natsumi turns off the TV before Yuri can rewind it. She tells Yuri that this might be the cursed video, and soon the phone rings. Natsumi hands the phone to Yuri to answer, and they're answered by a horrendous feedback sound. Soon the light starts to flicker and Natsumi sees Sadako. Back at the market, Mitsuko is sweeping up, and Keiko tells her that she sold the VCR with the so-called cursed video. She then tells Mitsuko and her husband that she watched the video 2 days ago and nothing happened. Oh my god, just say your goodbyes right now. You're spending your last minutes on this earth sweeping. I'm so sorry. Mitsuko seems to think it's all a prank too, but her husband seems to think there's some truth. When Mitsuko calls out to Keiko again, she doesn't get an answer. They go looking for her, but someone else is lurking in the shadows instead. When they spot Keiko, she's standing on boxes on the second floor, and she throws herself off to the ground below. In her hands, she has strands of black hair. Suzuka is having nightmares about being inside the house next door, and when she goes to school, the other students can't believe that someone has moved in across from the nightmare house. They tell her that the house is haunted, and they tell her of the murder-suicide that happened there with Kayako and her son by the hands of her husband. If you don't know the legend of Kayako, I'll go do the Grudge or Ju-on movies right now. Don't tempt me. I can watch those movies for fun whenever the craving hits. They tell Suzuka that anyone that enters that house is killed by the curse shortly after. Back in town, Yuri and Natsumi go back to the market to ask about the tape, and Mitsuko and her husband look at it in terror. He tells them how they bought it from Miss Yusui's estate, and the welfare officer Tachibana was found 2 days after dead. As a last resort, Yuri and Natsumi go to the school to talk to their teacher, Mr. Morishige. They hand him the tape, and after confirming some suspicions, he gets excited to know that Natsumi has seen Sadako. All she wants to know is whether he can save her, but he has no idea. He decides to watch it, and by the end of the video, he gets a phone call. When the girls run back in, he confirms to them that this is indeed the famous cursed video, but he's disappointed that Sadako didn't appear to him. They quickly go through his book to find out that they have to show the video to someone else in order to pass the curse on. I would take this to someone immediately. You don't hover around with a curse until the last minute. Morals be damned. Sharing is caring. Suzuka runs into a young boy in front of the nightmare house, and she tries to help him. Soon 3 other boys show up and they tell her that everything is okay. After she leaves, they fill the boy's backpack with rocks and send him into the house. The door is locked at first, but he happens to step on a key that is just lying in front of the door. After unlocking it, he goes inside and starts counting to 1,000. He's terrified when he sees the ghost boy Toshio though. I can't lie, after all the years of watching the Grudge and Ju-on movies, Toshio is undoubtedly the worst part for me. When he unleashes his loud meow at the most unexpected times, you can't help but react. I've never had quicker reflexes than when that demon child is on screen. The boy comes back out and chucks a rock at one of the bullies. After it hits him in the head, the bully grabs the rock and they go inside to get him back. The boy hides in the closet and the bullies split up to find him. One of the bullies goes into the kitchen and Toshio sucks him into the cabinet under the sink. Another bully goes to the bathroom where Toshio pulls him into a tub full of water. The final bully makes his way to the room the boy is hiding in, but when he opens the closet door, the boy hits him again. Suddenly, Toshio grabs the bully and we hear Kayako croak as she grabs the boy. I'm officially picking sides now that I've seen this part. In the battle of Sadako versus Kayako, Kayako and her son win without a doubt. Mr. Morishige, Yuri, and Natsumi gather after he gets a phone call, and they have a medium, Miss Horyu, interact with the cursed video and the cursed. She tells him that this is the most terrifying thing that she has ever encountered, and she promises that she's gonna deal with this. Mr. Morishige tells her to save Natsumi, but he wants to meet Sadako. After the meeting, Miss Horyu does a ritual to cleanse Natsumi of Sadako. Eventually, Sadako makes her presence known as she possesses Natsumi and Miss Horyu's assistants. The assistants kill themselves, and Sadako turns her attention to Miss Horyu. She tells Morishige that she's called a powerful man named Keiko to help. Then Sadako kills both of them. When Natsumi comes to, she sees the aftermath of Sadako, and she accepts that she's gonna die tomorrow. After Natsumi blames Yuri for all of this, Yuri has her give her the tape so that the curse will pass on to her. Being selfless doesn't make you a hero here, it just prolongs the inevitable. Everyone has to pass it to someone or it will just keep making its way around Japan at least. If anything, Yuri should just lock it up and devote her life to keeping it secret. But no, she watches it instead. Finally, Keizo appears at the base of the stairs, and they go inside just in time to tell the girls that the myth of passing on the curse to get rid of it is just that, a myth. After they get their money, Keizo introduces them to his associate, Tamao, and she goes around to tell the girls what she sees in their future. When the curse really starts to take hold of Natsumi, Keizo speaks to Sadako and draws part of her out. Just then, Keizo has the genius idea to have evil fight evil. Keizo puts the girls up in a hotel for the night and he goes to make preparations. The next day, Suzuka is at school and she hears about 4 elementary boys that went missing. Meanwhile, Yuri takes a shower and she starts to have visions of nightmare hair. I'm just glad they didn't go with the scene where her hand appears in her hair and starts shampooing with her. I hate that part. Keizo and Tamao go to Kayako's house and the spirit senses them before they even get to the door. They don't go in, but they make sure that the souls that are trapped there are the right ones. After they find a well in the backyard, they go back up front and run into Suzuka. Tamao senses that the house beckons to her, and Keizo tells her to stay away or she'll die. That evening, Suzuka seems to be pulled into the house during a vision, and she senses that the missing boys are inside. Back across town, Yuri and Natsumi are waiting for Keizo to come and get them in an hour, but Natsumi seems to be losing hope. She tells Yuri about how she had Morishige's copy of the tape and she uploaded it to the internet. Now everyone will die. After Yuri tells her that she won't kill herself with her, Natsumi takes a belt, makes a noose, and gets ready to hang herself. Just then, Sadako appears beside her, and Yuri breaks the door handle just in time to find Natsumi has been killed. Moment of questionable choices here. Yuri wastes so much time trying to break the door handle, but there are glass panels all over the door. All she had to do was break one of them, move the chair that was blocking the door, and open the door. But for the sake of story, we are where we are now. Keizo and Tamao show up and explain how cursed people that try to kill themselves will also face the wrath of Sadako. Just then, Tamao senses that Suzuka is in danger. Across town, Suzuka thinks that she sees one of the missing boys in the window of the grudge house, so she gets dressed and heads next door. She goes inside and she finds that one of the boys is hiding in a closet upstairs. She tries to talk the boy into coming with her, but it turns out to be Toshio. Suzuka's parents can hear her scream from outside, and they go running in to save her. Toshio ends up snatching her father up within seconds of them coming in, and soon, Kayako crawls down the stairs while croaking towards Suzuka and her mother. Somehow, her mother ends up losing her feet, and she lies there as Kayako crawls over her. Soon, a bag is thrown inside, and Sadako's hair crawls out as they disappear down the hall. Great timing on Keizo's part, but I definitely feel like this is a temporary solution. I'm ready for an epic supernatural brawl. Let's see the hair all over the place and croaking invading my eardrums. I want a showdown. Keizo snatches Suzuka, and in the morning, she finds herself in her bed. Keizo explains that her parents aren't coming back, and they're going to confront Kayako and Sadako that night. Yuri introduces herself as a victim of another curse. These two should start a CA group, Cursed Anonymous. Now that everyone is on the same page, Keizo goes over the plan to use both of the cursed girls to get both of the curses to show up to fight over their souls. He assures them that he has a backup plan in case it's needed, but he really hopes to not have to use it. That night, Keizo goes over the plan one more time, and Yuri and Suzuka go inside the house to watch the video. Now that both curses have been invoked, they can hear both of their curses coming to claim what's theirs. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. When Sadako snatches Toshio into the TV, I sighed the biggest sigh of relief knowing that I didn't have to worry about him popping up anymore. Kayako is a beast, but Toshio is the one that'll give you a heart attack. When Kayako comes downstairs and Sadako comes out of the TV, I felt like my childhood icons were going at each other. This is better than WrestleMania ever was. Sadako's hair seems to destroy Kayako, and Keizo thinks that he has no other choice but to go to Plan B. He rushes in to barter with Sadako, but Kayako appears again and crushes the tape. Keizo tells the others to make a run for it, and they all run for the well in the backyard. When he gets there, he tells Yuri and Suzuka that one of them has to be possessed in order for the plan to work. Yuri knows that this means death for her, but she honorably volunteers to be the sacrifice. She goes to the well and prepares to jump in, and the two curses show up to claim her. She jumps into the well, and the two spirits combine into one big horror power that forces itself into the well to claim Yuri. I'm not gonna lie, whatever superpower ooze that was is probably one of the more horrific parts of this movie. On top of that, apparently the hair from one of them shot Keizo clean in half. Suzuka puts the cover on the well, but it's blown off immediately when the spirits try to get out again. Kayako crawls out and Toshio is back. Then the credits roll. Just like that, we hear Kayako's croak and Toshio pops up. The end. Honestly, the ending could have used just a little bit more of a clear answer or winner. Or just tell me that the curses just went on to wreak havoc. I'll just assume that one. I loved it. It was cool to see how icons that we know how they react independently are when they're forced to work against each other. Give it a shot. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.